Hey everybody. Um, up in my little shrimp area, this is where all of my shrimp breeders are. And I wanted to talk about this tank a little bit. This, like, okay, there's a few reasons I think why this tank has maybe been so prolific. I don't really know like exactly why. Like, okay, for one thing, I set this up in May and it's been a little warm up here, so maybe being hotter than usual. It's like 72 in here now, but maybe being hotter during the summer made them reproduce a lot. Maybe it's because they're cherries, and cherries I think have stronger genetics than like Blue Dream. Or because, for instance, like I think I started my colony of Blue Dream with like twice as many of these guys. Like I think that I started with like 24, and then these guys I started with like 12. But these guys have been, I mean, I can't believe how many shrimp have come out of here. But, anyways, so about that, right? I want to set up more shrimp tanks up here and get like a rack going and kind of make better use of these shelves and put the tanks long ways, like hot dog instead of hamburger. And this is getting a little overgrown. Like I want to pull some of the guppy grass out, and then there's tons and tons of Salvinia minima up here. So I'm going to pull that out and hopefully get some good, beneficial bacteria and stuff going. But I want to try some different setups up here, and this one does have an undergravel, and then it has a sponge filter on the other side. And then I want to try one that's like strictly undergravel with a power head, because I've noticed that in my other tanks where they have more current, that the shrimp are way more active. They're just swimming around a lot more, and then they seem just like 10 times more, just way, way more active, right? Like they enjoy the current, they enjoy the exercise of kind of swimming against the current and stuff. And then I want to do another one that's more of like a complex sponge filter thing. Trying out a couple different designs, and then I want to do one that's more built on like a hang on back type thing. So yeah, Petco is having their tank sale going on right now. So it's like you can get all of their open, what do you call it? Open tanks, the ones that they just have on the shelves, like this, like the Aqueon tanks, and for half off. So you can get like tanks for close to $1 a gallon. Like you can get 15 or 10 gallons for like $15. 20 gallons for like, yeah, like you get the idea, right? So, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start setting up some more tanks up here, and yeah, that's what we're doing today. Okay. So first up, to set these guys up, I'm gonna be using inert substrates, right? So like lava rock, just kind of like crushed, or just stuff that will not affect the pH, stuff that is totally inert, not bioactive, does not, is not porous, like doesn't hold bacteria and stuff like that inside of it, like no aquasoil, none of that. Because these are neocaridina, right? If I was doing caridina, I would be using something like aqua soil that would bring the pH down. But like lava rock is good. Lava rock is great. So for the tank that is going to have the undergravel, so I'm gonna set up one. Not you. I'm gonna set up one with an undergravel, and then, like, I can hear the groans. I know. There's so many people out there who hate these things, but I feel like for a shrimp tank, they work really well, and they. I don't pretend to really understand the science, but I know that in my experience, my tanks that use undergravels, for some reason, the nitrates are more easy to control. Like I can hear the groans. I know that everybody says like anoxic filtration, or people say anoxic filtration isn't a thing, or they say it is a thing. But to me, it is because I've seen it in action. I've seen the proof, right? So in this tank, I'm going to have back here is going to be this crushed lava rock stuff. I managed to score a whole bunch of this stuff, this shrimp scoria stuff. Like they were fire sailing it at PetSmart. I don't know why. I mean, I guess nobody's buying it. But it's just like pretty finely crushed up, like gravel-sized lava rock. So I'm going to do that for the undergravel, and then have some bigger pieces of lava rock in there, and then I'm going to make beds of Java moss for everybody to graze on and all that, and I'm going to have some guppy grass up here, kind of floating. Okay, so I've got a good few inches kind of this gravel kind of lava rock stuff, and it's like, I don't know, maybe like a quarter of an inch. So I've got that built up, and then kind of sloping towards the back because I want to encourage the little guys to hang out here in the front, like that's where their food dish is going to be. And then so my idea was to have either a power head in the back to get some current going this way and kind of circulating, or doing a hang on the back that inserts into the undergravel, like replacing the kind of like sponge attachment that would go on the bottom of the, like I would put a sponge on the uptake of the hang on the back to keep like little baby shrimp from getting sucked into it. But either way, I'm going to have a lot more current, and then it's also going to take care of oxygenation of the water and stuff like that. And that's just from my experience, like shrimp actually really like well oxygenated water, and they like current. And yeah, so that's the plan with this tank. Alrighty, so just to show you guys how I have this one set up, we've got a couple of inches of this lava rock stuff, the kind of crushed gravel lava rock stuff, and then it goes back, and then the undergravel is in the back, and then I grabbed a couple of these, just some little plants, like I've got a lot of Salvinia minima going in a lot of my tanks. So I just grabbed some of that. I grabbed some of this, Java fern and some moss and Java moss, Java fern, and then popped it in here. And like all of the plants, they're all going to have that kind of beneficial bacteria on them. And so that's one of the ways that I really like to get a tank started, get it going, is just grab plants from other tanks. And then, they have it, like the Salvinia minima has it covering all their roots and stuff, and all these guys. So anyways, I'm not really seeing any algae in here yet. So I'm going to wait until I see algae. Because like the hair algae, and then there's like a little teeny tiny bit of dust algae in here. And then I saw a scud swimming around. I caught a scud by accident. So I might pop a couple snails in as soon as I see some diatoms, some dust algae on the glass. And then, wait till I see some algae before I start adding shrimp. But that's just going to be this one. And then the power head in the back has a little it has a little airline in it, and then that it's pointed upwards, so it's mostly just to aerate the water really well and then to generate some current. Because I've noticed that the shrimp just seem way happier when they have some current to swim against. They seem like just way more active. I know for a fact that they like a lot of oxygen. They like well oxygenated water and algae to eat. So it's going to be this one. All right, so I'm going to set up another tank. And again, like long ways, everybody's going to be hot dog instead of hamburger. But so I want to talk about hang on the backs, right? Hang on the back filters. So I have like totally fallen in love with these guys, these Aqueon little hang on the backs. So the reason why I think these are such a great design, there's a few things that they do, right? They do have like sponges built into them, which is nice. Like I always appreciate it when there's a sponge like somewhere in these, how they're built. But the thing that makes these really, really great is that the pump is on the outside of the, it's not in here, it's in here. So it stays submerged in the water. And that makes such a huge difference. What else is in the box on this, in these things? So they do come with these guys, these little sensor things, which are supposed to tell you when you need to replace the filter, which junk, I toss those. In fact, I don't usually use these. I don't usually use the lids either. These things, these little filter things, that you're supposed to replace, I don't think that they're bad necessarily. Maybe there's some like plastic waste in this stuff, and the fact that you're supposed to go, use one of them every month or whatever. I mean, I don't think they're really particularly expensive either, but I don't really use these either. I do use these though, like all these little inserts. What I like to do is I like to use something like a media bag. Like this is obviously really well cycled ceramic media, right? So I'm just going to pop this in, put it in here, and start running this guy, and kind of put some of the mold stuff in there, and that's just going to instantly cycle the tank. But another thing that I like, I mean, these are great. Like every time the pump burns out on one of these, I'm not going to name any names, but when you have the pump on the outside, it works really hard to pull the water in instead of pushing the water in, where it's constantly underwater. The pump never, it makes less noise. It never, it just burns out. They just last forever and ever and ever. I do wish that they came with sponge covers. That's what I usually buy extra with these things, is a sponge uptake that goes on here. So it does like a pre-filter thing where it has the sponge, and then it is a sponge filter, that's drawing water through it, and then it has that good bacteria on it. But also it keeps this from sucking up baby shrimp. So this is fine enough where adult shrimp aren't going to get sucked up, but babies, can definitely get sucked up. And I have taken apart other hang on the backs that I've had on shrimp tanks before and found shrimp in here. And who knows how they, managed to get through there with the pump and everything. But I found like 10, maybe 10 little, baby kind of shrimp in one of these before. But, another thing that you can do with these that you can't do with other types of filters is you can fill them with all kinds of stuff. Like I like to use stuff like this. Like these are it's just a little media sock. So it's just like a little mesh kind of bag, and then you can fill it up with whatever. Like you can use whatever kind of ceramic media you like. You can, these guys are a good size so that you can put a couple in like next to each other. Lately I've been using this stuff, this aquatic peat stuff, and what it does is it lowers the pH, and it has nice tannins and stuff like that. And I've noticed that my shrimp seem to really appreciate it. They seem to really like this stuff. And because all of this lava rock stuff doesn't affect the pH, if I lower the pH, it isn't going to instantly buffer again, because of whatever type of rock I have in there. So that's part of why I want to do all these with the lava rock. And also these are neocaridina, not caridina shrimp. So if you're doing like caridina shrimp, you probably want to use like aqua soil or a lot of stuff like this that will, wood and stuff that will lower the pH and release those tannins. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do with this guy. This is going to be a hang on back. So I'm just kind of compare and contrast. That will add a little bit of flow to the aquarium, so that they do have a little bit of current to swim against, but not anywhere near as much as this guy. So we'll see. Okay, so this is the setup for now. I can't figure out which there's a couple little shrimp that hitchhiked into that one. And I can't figure out if they're orange willies or if they're cherries, because they're still really small, and I can't quite tell. They could be, like they have that kind of reddish color, but they also look a little orange. So I'm just gonna wait and see which they are, because I've counted at least 2. I saw 2 this morning. So whichever it is, I'm going to move them into that tank. And this is just going to have to sit like this for now. But I like it because I can get in between on the sides and then mess with stuff like air pumps or filters or whatever that's in the back. And then, but yeah, and I got a light that, this is one of the Aqueon, the new ones that has an app. It has a phone app where you can plug, or you can program the times, and then like do a daylight setting, a night setting, and really dial in exactly like the levels and how long you want your light cycles to be and all that. And then they just get plenty of sun up here from this big window that's behind us right now. So whichever this is, this guy is either going to be cherries or orange willies, one of the two. Because I do really like this setup with the lava rock, and then it's also just kind of prettier. It's a little more aesthetic than this, like the bare bottom tank. I don't mind the little plant pots. I kind of like the little plant pots, and then it's much easier if you're trying to catch shrimp. Then you can just take them out for a little while, and yeah, just move them around. And you can put fertilizer in the rock wall and all kinds of stuff like that, and it won't leak into the water column. Like, yeah. So anyways, this is the rack setup for now, and then I'm gonna do another one over on the other side. So I'm gonna have 6 neocaridina shrimp racks up here, and then I want to start breeding jades and black ones as well. So I'll have my cherries, my orange, just sun-kissed, my orange Rillies, blacks, jades, and then maybe one other one. I'll have to see. Okay, so one other thing that I have this tank set up in the same way with the little kind of lava rock gravel stuff in the bottom, and then the under gravel going up. But then I figured out a way to jerry rig a one of these hang on the back filters that I like so much, and then pop it in here and get it so that it's circulating, you know, and you got all this like tons and tons of good biological media, you know, lava rock, like it just has tons and tons and tons of surface area, and it also has good flow going through there. And then I put in a bunch of stuff that I trimmed back from another tank. Just had a whole bunch of Java moss that needed to come out, and that's going to be covered in good bacteria. Same with this Salvinia minima. You know, just had a whole bunch of it. So take it out, put it in this tank, and then that'll get this guy cycled. And then, yeah. So hopefully I will do another update soon when I'm moving. I think it's going to be these guys. I think I'm going to be moving the cherries into this one. And then I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive, see if I can catch him, one of them. But I'm pretty sure that these are the little hitchhikers in here are orange Rillies. So, so I'm going to take the orange Rillies out of here, all of them, and then put them in here. And then this actually has some orange sun-kissed. So yeah, trying to get some orange guys going. A good colony of orange cherries going. So anyways, yeah, that's going to be it. And I will see you all in the next one, hopefully with some success, a lot more shrimp.